On behalf of ICAR-Indian Institute of Soil and Water Conservation, I welcome you all for the lecture on the topic Problematic Soils and Management. Myself, Dr. Rashmi, working as Senior Scientist in Division of Soil Science at Indian Institute of Soil and Water Conservation Research Center, Kota, Rajasthan. The lecture is divided into following content. What is problematic soil? Classification of problematic soil. Here we will be discussing two types of problematic soil, that is, one is salt affected soils and the other is acidic soil. Salt affected soils and their driving factors, soil acidity and their causes, production constraints and management in these problematic soils. Coming to problematic soils. Problematic soils possess the characteristics that make them uneconomical for crop cultivation without adopting the proper reclamation measures. These problematic soils are formed due to the various natural and human-induced factors that negatively impact their ability to support healthy crop stand and also impacting the overall ecological functions. These factors lead to soil degradation, affecting the soil physical, chemical, and biological properties, ultimately harming the overall soil health. In the lecture, problematic soils are classified into two types. One is acidic soil, the other is salt-affected soil. Salt-affected soil is again classified into saline soil, alkali soil, and saline-alkali soils. Coming to salt-affected soil. Salt-affected soils occur in arid and semi-arid region where evapotranspiration greatly exceeds the precipitation. The various ions which cause salinity or alkalinity include sodium, potassium, magnesium, calcium. Chlorides, carbonates and bicarbonates of these cations are responsible for causing the salinity or alkalinity in the soil. In India, around 6.73 million hectare comes under the salt-affected soil, which roughly constitutes 2.1% of the total geographical area of the country. Of the 6.73, nearly 2.96 million hectares comes under saline and 3.77 million hectares is sodic. Extent of soil salinization in India. Salt-affected soils in India are spread in four major agriculturally important ecological regions. One is semi-arid Indo-Gangetic tracts, which include the alluvial soils of Punjab, Haryana, Uttar Pradesh, Delhi, parts of Bihar and West Bengal. Next is the arid and semi-arid tracts, which include the states of Gujarat, Rajasthan, Madhya Pradesh and Maharashtra. Peninsular regions includes Maharashtra, Karnataka, Tamil Nadu, Andhra Pradesh and Odisha. The coastal alluvial regions includes the states of Andhra Pradesh, Odisha, Tamil Nadu, Kerala, Karnataka, Maharashtra, Gujarat and Andaman Nicobar Island. The major driving factors for the salt-affected soils include evaporation exceeds precipitation in the areas, excessive application of poor quality irrigation water during crop production, accumulation of soils due to inundation of seawater, considerable quantities of soluble salts in groundwater or from parent material is responsible for salinity. Poor and inadequate drainage of the soil is also one of the major factors causing soil salinity. There are two types of salinity, primary salinity and secondary salinity. Primary salinity are caused by natural causes such as climate, location, hydrology, geomorphology. Under climate, arid and semi-arid region often characterized by low rainfall and high evapotranspiration is responsible for such type of salinity. Seawater sprays and intrusions into coastal lands are the location-specific causes for the primary salinity. Shallow groundwater table, impeded or absent drainage are the hydrological factors causing this salinity. Different rock weathering and parental material are geomorphological parameters causing primary salinity. Coming to secondary salinity, where anthropic factors are the major causes. Excessive irrigation, which causes the solubilization of soil minerals causing secondary salinity. Inadequate soil topography, In depressed lands with shallow water table, accumulation of the water along with salt causes this salinity. Inadequate drainage, poor drainage, and rising water table causes this type of secondary salinity. Saline irrigation or chemical abuse means the higher use of fertilizers or chemicals is responsible for developing secondary salinity. Characteristic properties of saline alkali soils are based upon the factors such as soil pH, electrical conductivity, and exchangeable sodium percentage, based on which these soils are classified into three different classes. Saline soils characterized with a pH of less than 8.5, electrical conductivity of more than 4 decisiemens per meter, and ESP of less than 15%. Whereas in alkali soils, the pH usually ranges more than 8.5 with an EC of less than 4 and an ESP of more than 15%. Saline alkali soils have a pH of less than 8.5, EC of more than 4 and ESP of more than 15%. As shown in the picture, saline soils are often characterized by the presence of these white patches or accumulation of this salt on the surface. These soils have the pH of less than 8.5 were formerly called as white alkali soil because of the surface crust of the white salt. Most alkali soils, particularly occurring under arid and semi-arid region, contains the calcium carbonate in the profile in one or some form, and the constant hydrolysis causes the release of the hydroxyl ions, thus increasing the soil pH. Coming to the major production constraints in the salt-affected soil. The presence of the salt leads to the alteration of osmotic potential, thus affecting the water absorption by crops. The other major constraint includes a specific ion effect on the plants, which can be seen due to the toxicity of ions such as chlorides and sulfates. Nutrient stress due to this ion toxicity and deficiency of nutrients is also observed. Negative effect on seed germination and seedling establishment due to the iron toxicity is also observed in this soil. Higher salt levels causes low microbial activity in these soils. Increased drought and rising sea levels along with the climate change further worsens the soil salinity. All these factors cause a significant reduction in the crop yield, which can be between 20 to 50%. Next is the management of the saline soils. Subsurface drainage is one of the most effective tools for lowering the water table, removing of excess salt and preventing the secondary salinization due to ions. Proportion mixing of good quality water along with the saline water and then using it for the irrigation can reduce the effect of salinity or iron toxicity. Alternate furrow irrigation favors better crop compared to the flooding irrigation method. Drip, sprinkler, and pitcher irrigation are considered to be more efficient in these soils. This slide shows the relative tolerance of crops to salinity. Compared to the cereal crops, vegetables are more sensitive to soil salinity as compared to the cereals crops which are more tolerant to soil salinity. Coming to alkali or sodic soils. Sodic soils have an electrical conductivity of less than 4 decisiemens per meter and an exchangeable sodium percentage usually is greater than 15%. These soils have a pH of more than 8.5, which again depends upon the relative amount of exchangeable sodium or other soluble salts. These soils are characterized by the soil structure degradation, poor drainage, dispersed and cloddy soil. As seen in the figure, the surface of the soil colloids are occupied dominantly by sodium ions compared to calcium ions, which is responsible for the soil dispersion. Coming to reclamation of alkali or sodic soil. Deep plowing. This is done to break the hard pan which is developed in the subsurface of these soils due to presence of sodium ion. Providing drainage to improve the aeration and remove further accumulation of salt in the root zone is another method of reclamation. Sand filling further reduces the heaviness of the soils and increases the capillary movement of the water in these soils. Profile inversion, which improves the soil physical condition and will be as good as like deep plowing, can also help in reclamation of the physical properties of these soils. Next is chemical amelioration. Chemical amelioration includes the application of different reclamation agents. These reclamation agents can be inorganic in nature and organic. Inorganic amendments include gypsum, phosphogypsum, flue gas desulfurization gypsum, elemental sulfur, and fly ash. Organic amendments includes farmyard manure, poultry manure, pressed mud, municipal solid waste compost, spent wash, etc. Application or addition of these amendments into soil replaces the sodium ions from the surface of the soil colloids and is replaced by the ions like calcium, which help in improving the physical and the chemical condition of the soil. Crop choice is another type of reclamation measures for this soil. Crops such as rice is preferred crop in alkali and sodic soils as it can grow under the submergence and can tolerate to fair extent of the exchangeable sodium percentage or sodicity. Agroforestry system such as silviculture or silvipasture is another crop choice which can improve the physical, chemical and the biological health of these soils. This slide shows the relative tolerance of crops to soil sodicity, as can be seen that the crops like rice is more tolerant to the exchangeable sodium percentage. Crops such as beets, barley, and sesbania and mustard wheats are also more tolerant to soil sodicity. However, fruits, nuts, safflower, few legumes, etc. are highly sensitive to soil sodicity, which can negatively impact their crop yield. Next important problematic soils are acid soils. Soil acidity refers to the presence of the higher concentration of hydrogen ions in soil solution as well as the exchange site. These soils are often characterized by the low soil pH and low base saturation. The range in the soil pH and associated degree of acidity usually is shown in the table. Soils which are very strong have a pH of 3 to 4. Strong acidity is often characterized by the pH of 4 to 5, moderate acidity by 5 to 6, and slight acidity between 6 to 7. In India, about 48 million hectares out of 142 million hectares of arable land comes under soil acidity, of which 25 million hectares have a pH of below 5.5 and 23 million hectares have a pH of between 5.6 to 6.5. In northeastern region, approximately 95% of soils are acidic and 65% have strong soil acidity where pH is less than 5.5. Various causes of soil acidity are leaching of bases. In heavy rainfall areas, leaching of bases causes soil acidity. Acid parent material and alumina silicate mineral are also the cause of soil acidity. Acid forming fertilizer such as application of urea ammonium sulfate in large quantities over a period of time causes soil acidity. Organic matter decomposition, presence of organic acid also causes soil acidity. Acid rains and increased anthropogenic activities in addition to these parameters are responsible for causing soil acidity. The major production constraints in acid soils are increased solubility and toxicity of ions such as aluminium, manganese, and iron, deficiency of calcium and magnesium, reduced availability of nutrients such as phosphorus and molybdenum, and reduced microbial activity causes the reduction in the crops. Moreover, it is the active acidity which plays an important role in the availability of the nutrients in acid soils. Coming to the management of the acid soil, lime is the most common effective soil ameliorant for acidic soil. Other amendments include basic slag, dolomite, paper mill effluents, organic manures, biochar, etc. Biochar nowadays is gaining more importance as a lining material for the acidic soils because of its alkaline nature, carbonate content, and oxygenated functional groups, which is known to neutralize the soil acidity, and it can also help in reduction of the aluminium toxicity and making nutrients available. Fly ash is another low-density amorphous alumino-ferrosilicate which improves the phosphorus pH and nutrient availability. Integrated nutrient management is also an important step for managing acid soils. Growing of acid-tolerant crops such as paddy, potato, watermelon, etc. also help in ameliorating these soils. As we have seen in the previous slides that the problematic soils are unfavorable for crop cultivation because of one or the other characteristics, maybe soil acidity or soil salinity, which adversely affect the optimum soil productivity. Therefore, to minimize the impact of these degradation, it is necessary that the soil health management should be attempted, which includes the following different aspects such as minimum soil disturbance, that is, doing the reduced till or no till in the soil can be one solution, providing a complete surface cover of the soil, which includes either using crop residue or other sources of mulches and providing a crop cover throughout the period. Addition of the organic amendments or soil ameliorants according to the requirement of the soils. Maximizing crop diversity, it means including more diversified cropping system on the given land. Integrating livestock is also an important soil health management function. Thus, by including all these different aspects into the soil health management, this will maintain a healthy soil ecosystem, reducing the deleterious effect of the problematic soils, which can be managed and thus will help in supporting the overall agricultural sustainability. With this, I would like to conclude my lecture. Thank you all.